Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Laura, and in this video I'm going to take you through a yoga sculpt series. So while I must say sculpting intentionally with yoga isn't really true yoga, if you will, yoga really does lend itself to being a perfect way to build up some muscular strength in your body. It's a really balanced way to do it with some of these poses that we're going to be doing. And it's a great way to get yourself stronger to do some of the bigger poses that maybe you want to be working up toward, but don't quite have the strength for it yet. Now, as always, I like to use essential oils with my practice. I only use Young Living. You can link below to find out why. I've chosen 3 for today's practice that you can choose from. First of all, I always like to ground with a little oil, and I chose Valor for today because Valor helps build courage and confidence. And that I would put on your feet. Now, the reason I chose that is because when we work with our core, as we're going to be doing as we sculpt, we're going to be working the arms, the butt, a little bit in the legs, but always, always, always the core. The core is going to be worked. It's going to begin to wake up our oomph feeling, if you will. That feeling like, yeah, I can totally do this and I deserve it. And Valor is the oil that also helps you cultivate that. I chose 2 theme oils. You can do one or both of them. First of all, Joy. It's this beautiful blend that supports an uplifted emotional feeling. And the other one is Peppermint, because sometimes you just need something that kind of wakes you up and gets you going, which is what we're going to be doing with a sculpt series. Now, what I did is I actually put each of these in my diffuser. I love a Joy Peppermint blend in my diffuser. All right, so we're gonna begin. Have a block handy because you might want it later in our class. So we're gonna start down in extended child's with wide knees. So I want you to take your knees as wide as you can possibly go beyond the mat if you can, and have your toes touch behind you. Reach out onto the mat and begin to work your chest down toward the floor. You're pressing your palms, you're reaching long through the body, kind of snuggling in between the thighs as you draw the pelvis down, taking your chest down even more deeply down toward the floor. You can also lift your chin if you're going to find your nose gets in the way eventually as your chest hits the floor, and you can lift your head and rest on your chin if that's the case for you. And just take a couple of breaths here. Breathing into the groin, softening it, beginning to warm it up and get ready for our sculpting session. And then come on up, and you're going to bring those knees back together, hip width apart, and then pressing the palms, reach the sit bones up toward the ceiling so you take your forehead down. Doing an extended child's, a really active one here. Hips are moving up, chest is coming down toward the floor as you press the palms. Getting into the shoulders, getting into the upper back, finding your breath. Just warming up and getting ready for downward facing dog. All right, come on up. And if you're ready, downward facing dog. Now just know that the knee down version is always an option. So if you get tired as we do this series, you can always drop your knees for down dog as a little rest moment. Start with really bent knees, reach the sit bones up toward the ceiling, take your chest toward the knees, even create a tiny bit of concavity in that upper back. And then come up high on your toes, straightening the knees, and bend one knee, press the other heel down, and then just alternate. We call this walking the dog. It's just a really nice way to warm up the body and warm up those legs. You're going to get plenty of work today. And then come up high on the toes, take the chest toward the knees again, and slowly take your heels down as you lengthen up the back of the legs, pressing through the palms. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Now draw your belly in and round into plank. Make sure you're pressing through the entire surface of the palm of your hands so you're not just stuck in the wrists, but but you're pressing down through the base of the index finger. That will protect your wrists. Now you're going to drop the knees, pull the elbows in so they're not out to the side, pull them in, and do some cat bows. So we're going to drop the chest right between the thumbs, squeeze those elbows in, and press straight back up. It's okay if you have to drop your hips to get up. Go ahead and take it down and press it up. Take it down, press it up. 2 more full ones. 1 more, full, all the way up. Now we're gonna take it down, but you get to stay down. All the way down and release the legs. Hands are right next to the chest, right underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulder blades back and down, press your elbows in, feel the back activated. We're gonna work that middle back. You're going to do some cobra lifts, but you're not pressing into the hands yet. Your focus is pulling those elbows in, bringing those shoulders down and into the back. As you inhale and just use your back muscles, again, you're not pressing into the hands yet, and then you're coming back down. And again, come on up and take it down. Up, slow, squeeze, take it back down. It's amazing how those elbows begin to release as you come up. Come on up and take it down. 1 more, up. Take it down. We're gonna do 5 more, this time adding the hands. The squeeze continues though, so you're gonna lift up, press into the hands, elbows are still squeezing, shoulders are down, and then come back down. We're gonna do 4 more, just like that. Inhale, come on up, squeezing, still squeezing as you come down, never release. 3 more, bring it up, and take it down. 2 more, starting to feel those triceps? You're welcome. And take it down. 1 more. Bring it up and take it down. All right, tuck your toes, press back into downward facing dog. Tends to be a little hard because those triceps are tired. Just do the best you can. Get it really long through the body again. You can bend the knees if you want, taking the chest toward the knees, coming up high on the toes, pressing those heels down. And then gaze up, and you're going to step your right foot up between your hands, all the way up. Now drop your back knee, and you can help your foot up if you need to. So if you couldn't get that foot all the way up, now's the time to kind of help it. You can use your hand to get it up there, and then you're going to release the hip forward. Just give yourself a nice little stretch, warming up all that we're going to be working here in a moment. And then you're going to lift the back knee up. Get really firm through that back leg. Make it super strong, like you're pressing your heel up against a wall. And then take your left hand to the inside of the right foot, and you're going to open your right arm out to the side. All right, with the arm up, you really want to squeeze the shoulder blades together here, getting a little action in that upper back. And then swing that arm around. When it meets the other arm, both arms come up. Stay nice and deep here. Really working on those legs here. Draw the belly in, lift tall. Back leg is super firm. And then you're going to open up into warrior 2. So feeling open across the heart, check your foot alignment. Back leg is super strong. And when you come into a pose in a different way than you usually do, so if you don't usually do that, sometimes it feels funny. You can totally come out, adjust, readjust, do what you need to do, and go back in. Take your gaze across the fingertips of the front arm. We're gonna really work this front thigh. So I want you to take it a little bit more deeply, because we wanna work the knee in a new place. We almost always do the warrior 2 in the same place every time, right? So if you go a little bit more deeply, we're gonna be getting into a new place. We'll go work it a little bit harder. And we're really going to ask this thigh and the angle of the knee to commit. So don't move it. We're committing to this angle. You're gonna turn the palms up, take the back hand, rest on your leg, reach out that right arm, get really, really long. Whew. Thigh's gonna start to really feel it. It's okay to straighten it for a little bit if you need to, but keep it straight if you can. Back into warrior 2. Keeping that angle. Coming down into side angle. Now, if you need to rest, go ahead. But if you can just dangle that hand, go ahead. If you need a block to place your hand on, feel free. Do what you need to do, but do remember we are working that front thigh for a reason. We are specifically asking a lot of it. And then you come back. Now keep the knee at this angle and come back up to warrior two. That is like the hardest lift ever. I totally get it. And then you get to straighten the front leg and move into Trikonasana. You're welcome. Nice little break. Feeling open across the heart. Breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. Isn't that a nice little breather? All right, come on down. Step your front foot back into plank. Remember, you're pressing through the palms here. You're gonna do your flow, whatever it is you wanna do. So you're gonna take it down to the floor with or without the knees, into a back bend. It can be up dog or cobra, and back into down dog. Remember, you can drop your knees here if you need to rest. And then we're gonna do the other side. So gaze up, take your left foot up between your hands, drop your back knee. Remember, you get a little breather. Might wanna put your block where it's handy for the other side if you needed it. Release that hip forward, kind of out of breath. Lift the back knee. It's amazing how tiring, slow, deliberate movement can be. It's really good for you. All right, right hand to the inside of that left foot, left arm opens up, and you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. Watch that knee, make sure it's still pulling in so that it's pointing toward the toes. And slowly bring that arm around. When it reaches the right arm, both arms come up. And take it nice and deep. Draw the belly in, lift tall. Back leg is super strong. And then we're gonna open up into warrior two. So again, adjust your feet. Feeling open across the heart as you really commit. Commit to this knee. Remember, we're gonna go a little bit more deeply than we usually do. Back leg is super strong, super straight. And probably super tired. Feel open across the heart. You're still in your pose. You still want to feel your warrior two. Turn the palms up. Bring the back hand to rest on the thigh. Reach up through that left arm. Commit to that front knee. Breathe. And then back into warrior two. Make sure that knee hasn't moved. Coming down into side angle. And again, if you can have that arm so you're not touching down, great. If you can do that, totally cool. If you need to rest on a block, I'm gonna put my block nearby so I have it for triangle. And then come up, back to warrior two, hardest lift ever. Whew. Straighten the front leg and flow down into triangle, Trikonasana. Feeling open across the heart. Whew, nice work. And then come back down. And you can set the block aside, step your front foot back into down dog. Press through the palms as you reach out through those sit bones, getting nice and long again. Draw the belly in, round to plank, and do your flow. We're actually going to do the flow 3 times through this time. So just go back into down dog, touch for a moment, and then do it again. And one last one. When you're done with all 3, drop into child's pose. Come all the way down and release. Letting your back release. Feeling your shoulder blades come apart. Breathing into that back body, letting it soften. And then come on up. Okay, flip around. let's do a little something something for right into our abs. Okay, so have a seat and lift tall. All right, so draw the belly in and lift super tall. So I don't want any sagging in the lower back. You're gonna lift that heart up, and I'm gonna slowly make this harder and harder, and you are going to stop where you need to before you start to feel this, right? I want to feel the engagement in the core, in your abdominals, without sinking. So come on up, hold behind the thighs, lift that heart up. Now, if this is easy for you, you're gonna let go with your hands. And if you want, you can straighten the legs. I can't do that. My hamstrings are a little tight. So I'm gonna hang here, but you can feel free to straighten. And then we're gonna take one heel down, bring it up, and the other heel down. So if your leg is straight, you're taking it down and bringing it up, okay? So if you can imagine, it's gonna be much harder. Now you can do this with your hands behind the thighs. Just don't hold on totally so that you're not doing any work. Okay, you want to hold on just enough so that you can hold it. Whew, are you breathing? 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, have a seat. I love seated child's pose for this. So you're going to have your knees apart and feet are close together. They don't have to touch. And then draw your belly in and round down. You get a lovely stretch through the lower back and through the upper back. Breathe. All right, now coming down. Going to bring the knees into the chest, give them a nice hug. Ooh, that feels good. Arms out to the side, take your legs down to the left. And just give your abdominals a really nice stretch. Softening the belly and the back. And then come back up. And take your legs down to the other side. Just allow the back to release and soften. And then come back up. Give the knees a hug. Oh, and you can rock side to side if you want. That always feels good for me. And then release. Extend your legs. Draw your shoulders under. And just take a few moments to let yourself relax and release for a little shavasana. Feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. Thanks so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure sharing this with you. If you enjoyed it, please like the video and click on subscribe so that you can be, and the bell so you can be notified anytime I release another video. Thanks so much for joining me. Namaste.